Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 46 through 47 of YanXi Palace. There has been a 3-month jump. If you remember, Chun had a big marketplace idea, which the Empress pointed out seemed wasteful in the midst of all the suffering people are going through. In an effort to rebrand, Chun has been collecting donations to fill the stalls with. They will move their faux marketplace outside and open it to the public, selling the donated items and then giving the funds raised to charity. They are doing another tour of the street stalls when the Empress Dowager finds something that leaves a bad taste in her mouth.
这不是寿康宫丢失的东西吗?
They also spot some things that went missing from the other women's palaces. These items were supposed to be donated, but it looks more like they were all stolen. This is really embarrassing for Chun, who set all this up, and Jia too even accuses her of having done this on purpose so she could fake a bigger final sales number. Chun says she knows nothing about this, which of course she'd have to be a complete moron to pull a scheme like this just to make a bit of extra cash. The Empress Dowager and the Empress leave, telling her to get to the bottom of this, and Chun clearly already has a suspect in mind. Urchin tries once again to win over Fu Hong with a method that really shows how little she knows this man. She apologizes for her actions and asks that they start again. I'm not saying you can't apologize for messing up, but she's not even asking for him to be civil towards her. He's doing that already. She's asking for him to treat her like a wife, which is just so incredibly audacious after what she's done.
我可以为你生一个属于我们自己的儿子。
Why would he want that? He makes it clear that they may be stuck together, but they will never be husband and wife. That night, he gazes at the moon and confides in Qing Lian. I'm glad he has someone he can talk to honestly, and she gives him some sound advice. She says for as long as she's known him, he's been living in the past, but people like Yingluo never look back. They only look forward. It might be time for him to start doing the same. The next morning, Fu Hong makes his way to the palace to pay respects as it's his sister's death anniversary. Fu Hong and Yingluo run into each other, and he does an excellent job of following her wishes, bowing and turning to leave. But then she stops him, asking Mingyu to watch the door so they can speak in private. They have a frank talk in front of the Empress's portrait. He says he knows she still hasn't forgiven him for betraying her, and even guesses that her return must be related to getting justice for his sister. Yingluo doesn't want to talk about herself though. She tells him to leave the palace, that he belongs on the battlefield, not in this scheming place.
立刻就走。
可是我不放心你，不要什么都自己扛着。你是个人，不是神灵。
皇上您看，嫔妾说的没错吧？
Gotcha! I love that Yingluo keeps the smile on her face. The worst thing she could do right now is look guilty. Jia too is laying it on thick, and the emperor wants answers, but Yingluo has grown tired of constantly having to defend herself.
皇上若执意不信，嫔妾也没有办法。这是什么？
Before the emperor can storm out, Jia tu finds Yingluo's hairpin on the ground next to Fu Hong. It seems like it fell, so that means he was keeping it on his person.
是有人故意栽赃。
Hey, Mingyu, where the hell were you? Weren't you supposed to be guarding the door? Anyway, Fu Hong tries to explain that a servant spilled something on his clothing just now, and he had to go and change. The hairpin must have already been placed in the new set of clothes. But when they call the servant in, he claims to have no idea what he's talking about. This has gone on for long enough. Thespian Queen Yingluo tells Jia tu that she's had enough of her bad acting and calls in her servant. This is the servant who they caught stealing some time ago. Yingluo caught on to the fact that he was working for Jia, flipped him, and has since been using him as a part of her own schemes. She let him give Jia the hairpin, knowing that she would use it for some kind of trap. The eunuch admits that it was Jia who forced him to steal the hairpin, and with the pressure on, even her maid gives up. Damn! Jia too is confined to her palace, but though she got her just desserts, it seems that this scheme still had its intended effect. The emperor starts once again giving Yingluo the cold shoulder. It isn't long until Yingluo is graced with a visit from Chun, happy to come and rub salt in the wound. She tells Yingluo that after showing the Empress Dowager some of her old work from the embroidery department, the Empress Dowager was impressed and now wants her very own Yingluo original. Yingluo is an excellent seamstress, but her hands are weak after all those years of menial labor. But then of course, this wasn't a request. Yingluo spends the next month working on it night and day. The emperor isn't coming to see her anyway, so she's got plenty of free time. Fu Hong doesn't see her either, but makes sure she has enough food and coal, secretly passing it on through Hailan Cha, who reluctantly takes the credit.
默默地为他做了那么多事情，为什么又不告诉他呢？
1 month later, Chun presents the portrait to the Empress Dowager, and wouldn't you know it, the Empress Dowager didn't even know Yingluo was involved. She never asked Yingluo to make her a thing, and Chun just claims it was done by some random servants. The emperor happens to come in and see the embroidery. His sharper eyes pick up real blood mixed in with the red, and some parts of the embroidery done with real human hair. The Empress Dowager is impressed with the artist's dedication and wants to meet them in person.
臣妾亲自去宣。
The emperor leaves with a sneaking suspicion in his mind. He knows his servants, and the busy bees at the embroidery department have neither the free time nor the inclination to be this dedicated to some portrait. I mean, they'd all be bald and anemic if they were doing this all the time. He goes to spar with Fu Hong and clear his head, but it only adds to his worries as Fu Hong finally addresses the elephant in the room.
若您当年允了奴才的请婚，如今的令品大约是傅恒的妻子。傅恒
The emperor has a totally reasonable reaction. Fu Hong says the reason the emperor has been so angry and treating Yingluo so coldly is because he truly cares about her. If it were another one of his women, it wouldn't bother him so much. Passing on advice from Qinglian, he tells the emperor to stop living in the past.
既然得到了她，就该好好珍惜，否则只会让奴才更加后悔为何当初没有坚持到底。
Fu Hong's words eating away at him, the emperor sneaks off to Yingluo's palace. He finds her embroidering late into the night, working on another one of Chun's projects. He also notices the state of disrepair her palace has fallen into. He starts sending her things again, and taking this as a sign that she's been forgiven, Yingluo sneaks into his palace dressed as a guard. I would never cheat with Fu Hong, you're the only one in my heart, and blah blah blah. They're friendly again. He promises not to let anyone bully her again. Well, until the next time he gets mad and starts ignoring her again. Fu Hong knows that Yingluo has used him to make the emperor care for her more. Everything at the empress's portrait was planned from the start, all to make the emperor finally face that he is completely in love. Which explains why Mingyu wasn't properly watching the doors. She was meant to let them get caught. But Fu Hong is more than happy to be used, and he even went out of his way to say all that stuff to the emperor and make him angry.
只要他需要，我便会在。
Bro, he loves her so much. I think Fu Hong is right. I think the emperor truly loves Yingluo. As if it's hard to believe that anyone would fall for this quick-witted, headstrong, one-of-a-kind girl. That was never in doubt for me. My question was always, does Yingluo like him? Which I think I've made clear I don't think she does. It's the romantic in me, but I do hope something changes to make her actually want to be with the emperor. Which is exactly what's happening to Mingyu. She started out just wanting to use Hailan Cha as extra support, but this girl is falling fast and she doesn't even realize. Cute. It baffles me that these women haven't put together how impossible it is to scheme against Yingluo. I mean, Jiatu is new, I guess, but Chun, you should know better. I get it, you wanted to come by and have your petty little gloat fest, I promise, I get it, but what possessed you to go out of your way to give Yingluo a chance to plot against you with this portrait? Not only that, you gave her a month of prep time. You seriously didn't think that she might do something that you didn't see coming? The hubris is really off the charts. Finally, Fu Hong and Erqing. Erqing is trying desperately to pull on Fu Hong's Boy Scout heartstrings, but what she doesn't seem to get is that this isn't a matter of forgiveness, it's more a matter of, I know who you are and I don't like it. The cat's out of the bag, girl. He knows your heart is made of charcoal, and forgiven or not, he does not want that kind of person in his life, let alone his bed. But it makes me wonder, if Erqing could have acted like a loving wife for long enough, do you think it would have finally broken down his walls? Did she ever have a chance, or was Fu Hong always literally going to spend the rest of his life dreaming of Yingluo? Also, I'm glad to see Fu Hong starting to warm up to his kid. He made the decision not to tell anyone what happened, so as it stands now, that is his son. It's not the kid's fault what happened, and making him grow up feeling like a mistake would be really cruel. Till next time, thanks for watching.